Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of NHL Daily Talk. I know it's late, it's super late. It's currently 11 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. Kyle's time. And yeah, this is the only time that we are able to do this episode since both of us, well, mostly me, had a lot of stuff to do. I had to do a lot of driving today. But of course, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Kyle to this episode so that you guys can hear him as well. Say what's up to the fam, Kyle.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, no, we're doing something a little bit different this time. Instead of doing it over, we did it over a Zoom call last time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're actually recording off of proper recording software, so hopefully the quality will be, a little bit better and a little clearer. But yeah, no, unfortunately, sorry for the late upload. I'll let Iacob elaborate on that a little bit, later. But yeah, no, it should be a good one, and we got a lot of news to talk about. Anyways, Iacob, I'll let you
Yep.
take it away.
We definitely have some news. Hold on, I just gotta. Okay, yeah, we definitely have a lot of news to talk about. There was a lot of news, a lot of NHL scores, and obviously, today is one of those days where we can't do the NHL picks of the day because all the games have started and most of the games are finished. Last game started at 9:30. So, what we're gonna do for you guys, since you guys love the NHL picks of the day, we're gonna give you four NHL picks tomorrow: two player, two money line, and yeah, because we're gonna do the episode probably a little bit in the afternoon tomorrow. So. With that being said, we're gonna start probably with the NHL topics, then we'll go to NHL scores, see the NHL schedule real quick. Even though a lot of the games are done, but obviously we have to go over the schedule, but we're not gonna say the scores and the NHL starting goalies, and then we will wrap it up. So with that being said, let's go ahead and say the first score of the game real quick. Which I want Kyle to go ahead and say the first score of the game.
All right. So, oh boy, you caught me a little off guard. I wasn't expecting you to call on me first, but that's okay. All right, the first score we had yesterday was actually a game that I made a prediction on, and if I'm remembering correctly, I was actually right on my game prediction on my money line, and I said that the Red Wings were going to win this game, and they did. They won 2-1 in overtime, and very high volume of shots, and not a lot of goals for either side. The Red Wings end up pulling this one out 2-1, and they outshot the Leafs 41-31. So both goalies with an excellent performance, and yeah, John Gibson, Joseph Wall, hats off to you guys. Dylan Larkin had a goal and an assist, which I'll elaborate on that in a sec, but we'll go over the goal scores. So Scott Lawton opened the scoring less than 5 minutes in, and then Simon Edvinsson right at the end of the first tied the game, and there wasn't another goal scored until Dylan Larkin scored the overtime winner and ultimately capped off the game. And yeah, good game by both teams. Red Wings had more shots, came out on top. I have nothing else to add, Jakob.
Oh, I got nothing else to add either. I feel like good performance by both teams, and yeah, ready to move on if you're ready.
Go for it.
All right, so last night was the Anaheim Ducks against the Colorado Avalanche. It actually saw the Colorado Avalanche lose this game in a shootout, 2-1 to the Anaheim Ducks. Although you could say the shot totals were in Colorado's favorite. It was 41-16, so literally double the shots that the Colorado Avalanche took. But Dostal was, he was on point last night. That's made the Ducks their fifth straight win. So good performance by them. I did hit my pick for this one. Cutter Gauthier got an assist on the only goal that was scored for the Ducks in regulation.
Was that not
And
my
when it,
prediction, Jakob?
no, mine was Cutter Gauthier. I thought.
Then who did I say?
I don't even remember. We'd have to go back and double check. I don't even remember. Oh,
I thought I thought my pick was Cutter Gauthier. Maybe I'm tripping. I
no,
don't know.
no. I think mine was Cutter Gauthier. I would have to go double check real quick and see who your pick was. I believe your pick was. I'm not sure. Oh, we have to go
I,
back and look through the footage real quick. It's okay. We'll do that. We'll tell you guys tomorrow about that on tomorrow's episode. We'll come back to that one. But some key performances, obviously, someone with last name VL had a point, Gautier had a point, Uras had a point, and then Dostal had a 976, saved 40 of 41 shots. And when it comes to the Colorado Avalanche, Brock Nelson had a point, Lehkonen had a point, and then Brent Burns had a point, and Wedgwood had a 938 save percentage for one goal on 16 shots faced. And yeah, all that, hats off to the Ducks for, although they got outshot, they still had the better game. And yeah, that being said, is there anything you want to add about this game, or do you want to move on to the next game?
I got nothing really to say other than the fact that, Jeffrey VL, since getting traded from the Bruins to the Ducks, has his second goal in his third game with the Ducks, so great performance by him. And yeah, Lucas Dostal was the difference in this game and ultimately the reason why the Ducks ended up pulling this one out on top. All right, on to the next game, which, Jakob, I do know you predicted on this one, and I believe, if I remember correctly, you chose the Flyers to beat the Utah Mammoth.
Oh, actually, I chose the opposite. Thank you.
Okay, well, geez, I mean, apparently we got everything backwards today, and we don't know who made what picks, so that's what happens when you record late, I guess. So it
Yeah,
is what
no,
it is.
it's definitely one of those episodes where we're gonna butcher a lot of things. So we're sorry in advance if if we're not on the right mindset. We've kind of just been busy all day, and now our brains are not functioning. So we'll try and see how this episode goes. But yeah, no, you can continue with your thing, Kyle.
All right, so getting to the game score, the Utah Mammoth ended up pulling this one out 5-4 in overtime. So yes, Jakob, you were correct. Congratulations. And so the way that the scoring went for this one was the Flyers ended up getting the first three goals of the game, so they went up 3-0. And those goal scorers were Cam York, 30 seconds into the game. Christian Dvorak scored, 4 minutes later. So less than 5 minutes into the game, the Flyers are already up 2-0. And then Bobby Brink early in the second period makes it 3-0. But the Utah Mammoth didn't go away. JJ Paterka gets one 5 minutes after Bobby Brink scored. And then less than a minute later, Lawson Krause makes it 3-2. But Christian Dvorak decided that, the Flyers were going to keep the lead. So he scored once again to make it 4-2. But then the third period came around and Dylan Gunther scored with about 7 minutes left in the third to make it 4-3 for the Mammoth. Or, ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. 4-3 for the Flyers. And then Clayton Keller with 35 seconds left ultimately ties the game. And then Clayton Keller again, 2 minutes into overtime, ices this one. And yeah, this is a game where, once again, I think if you're the Flyers, you could definitely ask more from your goaltenders. And I mean, the Utah's a high flying offense team, and the Flyers did score. Their offense showed up tonight, or last night. Whoa, yeah, like we said, we're kind of all over the place, but yeah, no, the Flyers scored a few. The Utah Mammoth ultimately ended up outscoring them, and yeah, Clayton Keller with his heroics late in the game ultimately were the difference maker, and that's why the Mammoth ended up taking this one out on top.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It was a great performance by both teams. Obviously, I guess not a very high scoring game, to be honest. Not a really good performance by neither goalies, but it is what it is. Like I said, when Utah's goalie, doesn't do good, but his team still wins, you kind of just push it under the rug. And yeah, it was. I didn't know that there was a very wild sequence in overtime. Apparently, no, it was in the third period. The Flyers were up 4-3, and they were about to score an empty netter, and they missed the empty netter, and then
Oh, I
Clayton
saw
Keller
that.
came back and scored, and then in overtime they went back and forth, and then Clayton Keller ultimately got the puck in, said, "Yeah, I'm doing this again. I'm winning this game for us. Yeah, let's go home."
Yeah, if Garnet Hathaway iced it there for the Flyers, then we're talking about this game from the other point of view, and that shows how important getting those empty netters really are at the end of the day. And it's not the first time we've seen that, and I'm sure it won't be the last. But yeah, Jakob, Pittsburgh, Calgary, take it away.
One thing I do want to mention that
Oh,
people may think that scoring empty netters is very easy, but actually it's quite the opposite. It's actually very hard to score empty net because the other team is playing with one man ahead. It's like they're treating it like it's a power play, and you know how hard it is to defend a power play when you have one man less. So people may think, yeah, empty netter could be easy, but it requires skill. It requires you to keep your mind locked in and to ultimately get that puck down the ice and pray that one man isn't left wide open for the other team. But yeah, moving on to the Pittsburgh Calgary game, which, judging based on the game today between the Edmonton Oilers and the Pittsburgh Penguins, we're gonna have a lot of screaming and shouting and cussing to do tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. But Pittsburgh gets the best of Calgary, and Calgary loses this game 4-1. Goal scores real quick. Malkin scores to make it 1-0. Igor Shainikov scores to make it 2-0. Sharangovich scores to make it 2-1. And then in the third period, the Pittsburgh Penguins run away with it, and Brian Rust scores and Tommy Novak scores. Some key performance. Evgeny Malkin had 2 points. Tommy Novak had 2 points. Jack St. Avani had 2 points for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Those were your three stars of the game as well, which is kind of why I mentioned them. But like I mentioned, Brian Rust had a point. Shanikov had a point. Raquel had a point. Crosby had a point. Shea had a point, and then Stuart Skinner was the goalie last night, so he's not playing. He did not play tonight against Edmonton, and he allowed one goal on 19 saves for a 947 save percentage. And on the other hand, for the Flames, obviously, Sharangovich got himself a point, and then Ball and White Cloud, a new member of the Calgary Flames after being traded not too long ago for in that trade with Rasmus Anderson, plays a game for the Calgary Flames and ultimately gets himself on an assist on that Sharangovich goal. And then Dustin Wolf, not too bad of a game, but not too good of a game for a caliber goalie like him. He allows 4 goals on 25 shots for a 840 save percentage. So, you can expect a little bit better from him, but yeah, obviously at the end of the day, the better team when it comes to shots, it was 25-19. So obviously the better team won the game. And yeah, kudos to the Penguins. Like we mentioned, they have been going on a little good momentum shift now that they're playing with a little more heart now that both of their starting defenders are injured. One of them day today, one of them possibly a couple weeks, possibly a couple months, and they're still playing like they've never gone. They're still playing like they don't need them. So yeah, Kyle, is there anything you want to add about this game?
Not specifically about the game, but regarding like the Penguins and their, great play. And currently they're sitting second in the Metro Division, and with a win tonight, they will be sitting, solo in that second position. And yeah, the old guys in Pittsburgh continue to perform. The depth has been way better this year, and they've been good, and a deserving win over a team that's in the basement of the league. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So now we have the Seattle Kraken versus the New York Islanders, and to be honest, this is not the performance I was anticipating. I was, expecting the Islanders to either come out with a win in a close performance or to just blow them out of the water, but no, the Kraken end up taking the Islanders down 4-1. The shots were actually equal at 25 apiece, and the Islanders did open the scoring with an Anthony Duclair goal, which, by the way, he has been on fire as of late. So we'll see if he can keep that up. But yeah, that was in the first period, 2 minutes 38 seconds in. Halfway through the first, Matty Beniers ties up the game. In the second period, Vince Dunn scores the game winner with less than 7 minutes left in the second period, and then Capo Caco scores a few minutes later to make it 3-1, and then Jared McCann scores the empty netter at the end of the game. And yeah, I mean, I think this is a game where, you know, you would think Sorokin would be the hero, but no, the hero actually ends up coming up for the Seattle Kraken, and that is Philip Grubauer in this one. And yeah, good performance by the Kraken, only allowing one. I mean, you're giving yourself a chance to win if you only allow one goal, and that they did. They won. So good win for the Kraken, and that keeps them in the tight playoff race in the West.
Yeah, no, definitely good performance. Before we have one more game to talk about. Before we do the NHL topics, I do want to go back and listen to yesterday's, at least the last bit, so we could see what picks we made, so we could talk about it before we hit move on. But the last game saw the Vancouver Canucks against the Washington Capitals, and if you're a Vancouver fan, you might be a little happy because your 11-game winning streak is over. It's been snapped. You won the game 4-3. Although the Capitals outshot you guys 32-25, and ultimately, the Capitals were up 2-0. But Brock Besser scores to make it 2-1. By the way, the two goal scorers for Capitals were Dylan Strome and Justin Sordiff. And then Brock Besser scores, and then Evander Kane scores to tie the game, and then Drew O'Connor scores to make it 3-2 Vancouver, and then Philip Hronik scores to make it 4-2 Vancouver, and then with 3 minutes left, Dylan Strome scores to make it 4-3, and unfortunately that was the end of the game. Nobody else scored after that. So good performance by the Canucks. The 3 stars of the game, real quick. Brock Besser had 2 points for the first star. Kevin Lankinen allowed 3 goals for a 906 save percentage, and then Dylan Strome had himself 3 points. So, some key notable players for both teams. Ovechkin had himself a point. Strome had himself 3 points. Serdev had himself 2 points. Wilson had himself a point, and John Carlson had himself a point. And Logan Thompson, an 840 save percentage on 4 goals allowed on 25 shots. And for the Vancouver Canucks, because of course we have to mention both teams, Besser had himself 2 points. O'Connor had himself a point. Kampf had himself 2 points. DeBrusk had himself 2 points. Kane had himself 2 points. Willander had himself a point, and then Hronik had himself a point. And like I mentioned, Lankinen had a 906 on 3 goals on 32 shots. Kyle, your turn.
Man, my ringer keeps going off, and yeah, sorry about that, guys. But I don't know, I keep pushing it down and it keeps popping right back up, so I think it's broken. So my apologies. But yeah,
You're all good. You're all good.
no, the Capitals. This is one of those games where you maybe asked for a little bit more out of your players, then ultimately at the end of the day they didn't get it in this one. And with this loss, the Capitals have fallen to seventh in the East now in the way of the wild card, which only puts 3 teams below them in the East, and they're gonna have a really good, post Olympic break to be able to push themselves back in the playoffs. And to be honest, I'm not sure if they can do it, but I personally think that this team is not bad at all, and I think they can do it. But yeah, with how tight the East is, it's hard to say. I guess we'll see what happens, but no, not a good game for Washington, and congrats to the Canucks for getting off of their massive losing streak. And
I
yeah,
know. Yeah. All right, let's take a quick listen so we can see what the NHL picks of the day were before we move on to the NHL schedule or the topics. Try to figure out where it is real quick.
I'm
Okay, here
pretty
we go.
sure I said
Okay,
Cutter
I got it. I
Gauthier.
got it. Okay, here we go.
Very good menu. Actually, I think I think
Wait.
you go first. I'm going to take the Utah Mammoth to beat the Philadelphia Flyers.
Hmm.
And on
So
that
one
note,
for two
I'm
so
going to
far.
take a different game for my player pick, and I'm going to take Cutter Gauthier
You
to
did take
record himself
Gauthier.
a
Okay.
point.
Now we need to figure out who
All
you
right, I
said.
like that. Okay, and for my pick of the day, I'm going to pick the Red Wings to beat the Leafs.
Hmm.
And did I say player pick or did I say team pick? You just said this part. Okay, so I was right. I'm going to take a Sidney Crosby point for the Penguins.
You said Sidney Crosby. I said Cutter Gauthier. So now you need to figure out if you got it right or not.
I
I
got
think you
I
did.
got a
I think you
Crosby
did.
point, so I went two. We
So,
both went 2 for 2 yesterday, so yeah,
oh.
we'll take it. We'll take it. That's for sure.
So obviously, after going, both of us went 0 for 2 the night before. We both went 2 for 2, and obviously that's why you have the Spotify. That's why we record, so we can go back if we ever need to and look back. But real quick, I'm gonna say the schedule. I'm gonna say the NHL starting goalies real quick because they're not they're already all the games are played, so we don't really need to talk about it much. But I want to go ahead and say it real quick while you know before we talk about because we have a bunch of topics and a bunch of shout outs to make. So, real quick, the Ottawa Senators played the Columbus Blue Jackets at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, and that was James Reimer against Elvis Merzlikins. Uh, Hold on, I might be tripping. No, this is the wrong game. Excuse me. Hold on. My iPad's bugging with me. Okay,
What
never
you
mind.
looking
Wrong
at,
one.
bro? What you
My
looking
bad.
at?
Apparently it was bro. For some reason it was on the January 20th, and I was reading it and I was like, I've already said these games, but let me move on. Let me correctly say. So the Buffalo Sabres played the Montreal Canadiens. And this is January 22nd, by the way, which today is January 22nd. Yeah, it is. And it was Ukko-Pekka Lekkinen against Sam Montebo at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. We had Chicago at Carolina, and that was Spencer Knight versus Frederick Anderson. So no Brendan Boosie tonight. They tried Anderson. And Vegas Golden Knights at Boston. All these games, by the way, were at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, and that was Akira Schmid versus Jonas Coprasalo. Then Dallas at Columbus saw Casey DeSmith versus Jet Greaves. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time was Ottawa versus Nashville. And that was James Reimer against UC Saros. And again, was Florida versus Winnipeg, and they decided to not go with Bobrovsky for Florida. They decided to go with Daniil Tarasov against Connor Hellebuck. Then at 9 p.m. Eastern time, which this is the game that we really don't want to talk about. By the way, it is 6-2 for Pittsburgh, if anybody wants to know. So, but we will talk about that game tomorrow. But it was Arthur Shilov's Noah Stewart Skinner against Tristan Jarry. And the last game, the last game on the menu today was Red Wings at Minnesota, and that was played at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 9:30 p.m. excuse me, Eastern time, 7:30 p.m. Mountain time, and that was Cam Talbot versus Philip Gustafson. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and flip over to the NHL topics. And since I'm doing a lot of the talking, and Kyle found a lot of these topics, I think I'm gonna let him do most of the talking. And I'm just gonna go and say whatever I think, unless I get when I get cued in by Kyle. So Kyle, take it away with the first topic of this segment.
Well, the first topic comes from a player who, to be honest, prior to, a week or so ago, maybe not even, I really didn't know who he was, but he, just happened to leave a like on our Instagram story, and yeah, and this player is Pierrick Dubé, who recently just signed a deal with the New York Islanders to a two-way contract after terminating his deal with Tractor in the KHL. So, shout out to him, and yeah, we appreciate the support, and your guys' support pushes us to do more. So, and it was really cool to see a guy who's played a couple NHL games like our story, especially so early on in this podcast's existence. So, shout out
And
to him,
yeah,
and yeah, unless you got something to add, Jakob, I'm gonna move on.
I thought it was really weird because we never mentioned anything about Pierre-Eric Dubé or anything about anything related to him. But honestly, when Kyle text, I remember getting that phone call, that text message from Kyle and said, "Oh, we just got a former NHL player who played a couple games like us," and I go, "What?" And he sends me the screenshot. I'm like, "No shot." By the way, he is verified on Instagram too. So if you guys want to go check out his profile, please do, because maybe you might find something on there. But yeah, we really appreciate the support, the love and support from the fans. If there is ever NHL or a former NHL player who looks up at our story, likes it, obviously we'll shout them out. We'll also shout them out on Instagram because we want to do that as well. But we do appreciate the love and support from everybody. And it, like Kyle mentioned, it does give us the motivation to keep pushing and keep giving you guys these contents, because apparently a lot of people are liking it, because we do have a lot of followers on both our Instagram and our YouTube. So with that being said, we're going to keep pushing, we're going to keep giving it to you guys, and we'll see where we go from here. But yeah, shout out to Pierre Dubé, and congratulations to you for coming back to North America and signing for the New York Islanders. Best of luck in your career.
Yeah, hopefully you pot 50 goals this season on the Islanders.
Definitely, because we mentioned you, so it should give you good luck now.
Well, that's what we'll hope for. All right, well, on to more news of the day, which, once again, thank you very much. So we got Vladislav Kolyachonok, which we talked about him the other day getting put on waivers, and unfortunately, the news about what had happened came out after we had done the episode yesterday. So he actually ended up getting reclaimed by the Dallas Stars, which to a lot of people is no surprise. And since getting claimed, he has been reassigned to the Texas Stars of the AHL. So they reclaimed him to, help their minor affiliate and have some extra depth in their organization. And for them, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Interesting. No, I do remember Kyle did mention that he was like, if if Dallas claims him, that's good. If Dallas reclaims him, that's good. And I guess Dallas decided, hey, we're gonna listen to Kyle and we're gonna reclaim him because we need him. So yeah, congrats to him, and best of luck in the Texas Stars. And hopefully, you become good enough that you can get back up there and play on the NHL team. Or hopefully, one guy gets hurt so that you come up there. But obviously, we don't like people getting hurt. But if it is to give another player a chance, then you can take it. Go ahead. Good luck.
Yeah, and yeah, on that note, Kolyachonok is only 24, so he's definitely got good opportunities to still make his way up to the NHL. So best of luck to him, and good luck with the Dallas Stars now. And we seen another or not a waiver claim, but we seen a player that is currently on the Boston Bruins that they didn't waive in Alex Steeves signed a 2-year extension with the Bruins worth 1.63 million AAV for 2 seasons, and he's a solid, young player who, oh my goodness, bro, it keeps going off.
But it's getting the fantasy notifications. I can tell.
Assist by Quinn Hughes, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
I,
I should probably fudge. I should probably check if I. I'll check later.
all
I
right.
probably
Well,
got a notification.
anyways, yeah. But my ringer's off. I swear. I swear my ringer's off. But I don't know what's going on. But yeah, no. I mean, I think that's a good deal for the Bruins. It's at a low contract, like low AV. The guy gets his first, major contract, and good for the player, good for the team, and yeah, for a team like the Bruins, it's like if it doesn't work out, it's low risk, possible high reward. So best of luck to him, and we will see what happens.
I do want to mention that that as soon as Kyle got that notification, I got one too. That Brock Faber did get an assist too. So kudos
Hmm.
to them. But no, definitely, it's definitely a good move for the Boston Bruins. I feel like what he plays like the third line or the fourth line. What is it?
I believe third line.
Oh, you got yourself a 3C who at a very small contract like that is, maybe he can produce and show that he deserves a bigger contract. But yeah,
Yeah, I just
yeah,
looked up
he
his stats. I don't know if you can see him, but he's got 14 points in 34 games this season, and he's 26. So yeah, congrats to him earning his first NHL or proper NHL deal, and best of luck to him in the future.
Yeah, congrats to everybody. And also, we will mention at the end, but we do want to say congrats to every single player who signed the extension. It's very hard to get an extension, without being worried that you're going to get put on waivers and all that. So we just want to take the time to appreciate that, this is your hard work and it's paying off and you're getting the money that you deserve based on your hard work. So we just want to take the time to congratulate everybody. And yeah, with that being said, Kyle, move on to the next topic.
Well, we have the biggest signing of the day, and this is one that I mean, I'm not too surprised based off of the success he has had this season, but Josh Doan, man, in Buffalo, what a novelty he's been since coming over in that JJ Paterka trade. And yeah, he earned himself a 7-year deal worth $6.95 million annually. And I mean, to be honest, I knew he was a solid player, but coming into Buffalo, I didn't expect him to put up the numbers that he's currently putting up. And for that Buffalo core, another really good young player, and perhaps part of the reason why this team is taking a step in the right direction. Just a few notes. Josh Stone is only 23 years old, so this contract will run until he is 30 years old. So he's going to be a Buffalo Sabre for quite a while. And this season, in the 50 games he's played, he has 15 goals and 20 assists for 35 points and is a -4, although it is the Buffalo Sabres, so he gets a pass on that one. But yeah, no, huge deal for him. And after a season, like part of a season with Arizona, and then last season with the Utah Hockey Club, good for him.
Yeah, no, I do want to say congrats to him. I know I was watching him like a few years ago when he was playing for the Arizona Coyotes, but yeah, no, it's good to see that, he got the money he deserved and it's a good contract for someone of his caliber. Yeah, no.
Yeah, son of former NHL player Shane Doan, by the way, who was a longtime Arizona Coyotes player, and I mean, I would have loved for him to stay in that organization, assuming they hadn't left Arizona. But the second they moved to Utah, it's kind of like it doesn't feel the same anymore. And I think the trade is fine. And yeah, he's succeeding in Buffalo. So at the end of the day, it's the best for the player and best for the team. So go
Yeah,
Sabres,
no-
go Josh Doan. All
yeah,
right.
for sure.
Our next note, we have a little bit of injury news regarding a couple players. And the first one is that the New Jersey Devils have placed Luke Hughes on LTIR after sustaining a shoulder injury a couple games back. And I mean, you don't want to see it. Like I can't remember exactly what happened, but I do know I seen a clip on it, and yeah, it didn't look great for him. And I mean, I hope it's not as bad as it looks. But after placing a player on LTIR, from the time they're placed on it, they have to be out for a minimum of 10 games. So that means that his timeline is at least over 2 weeks, and hopefully for him that won't be too much longer than that.
No, I hope it's not. I don't. He didn't get called up to the Olympics, did he?
No.
No. So yeah, we want to wish him the best speedy recovery. And on that note, I think I'm going to bring one of the topics up because it's also an injury topic, and I want to say it because it's just one time I get to say it, but apparently Jackson Lacombe is replacing Seth Jones on the U.S. Olympic men's ice hockey roster because of an injury that was sustained during the Winter Classics. So I didn't see the injury. I don't know if Kyle saw it, but I didn't see the injury. But obviously, it sucks when Seth Jones won't be able to represent his country because I know he'd want to badly, but unfortunately, he won't be able to because he's worried that he's gonna get hurt even more, or he probably hurt himself badly that he probably can't even get up on skates. But congrats to Jackson Lacombe. I know there was many other notable US men's hockey players that could have went over Jackson, like Adam Fox, but
Lane
yeah, congrats
Hudson.
in Hudson, but congrats to Jackson Lacombe on earning his, and well, we know that you're gonna go make your country proud, and you're gonna get hungry because you know you just beat a bunch of guys who a lot of people thought, and there is currently some Instagram and TikToks that are being made that Jackson Lacombe maybe didn't deserve it, but maybe at the Olympics he's gonna prove the haters wrong. He's gonna silence the crowd, and he's gonna have himself a good Olympics because like I mentioned, who wouldn't want to, represent their country? And obviously it sucks, when one player gets injured, but when one opportunity presents itself, you got to take it and run with it. So yeah, congrats to Jackson Lacombe and speedy recovery for Seth Jones, and hopefully because Chicago definitely needs a defender like you back quick.
Chicago.
Or I don't even know what team he plays anymore for.
He
I
plays
remember
for the
last time.
Florida Panthers, brother.
Oh, my bad, my bad. I remember last time he was on Chicago. My bad. Florida. Florida definitely needs a player like you because they have also been struggling with injuries, and they did get Matthew Chuck back, but they're still without their longtime captain on Alexander Barkov, who will not be playing possibly this season at all. So
Well, on that, I do think Barkov will be back this season and sooner than a lot of people expect, but that's just my superstition, so don't take it for granted as I am not the team doctor of the Florida Panthers.
as you can clearly tell, Kyle is the NHL expert because he can tell me anything. Because I didn't even know that. I knew, but I remember seeing something with red, and I instantly thought of Chicago because that's where I've seen him play the most with. He's been bouncing between teams like Columbus and all that. So I was thinking Chicago off the top of my head, but obviously we're on a brutal honest show, and Kyle has to tell me, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So yeah, thanks Kyle for correcting me because I don't want to give bad facts out. But yeah, other than that, if Kyle has anything to say, let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, I'll just tell you to shut it from time to time because your facts are wrong, but yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
fair. And
Okay, so this one I'm gonna say because this one I actually found this topic I found
well,
and I actually feel
I wanna go over the rest of the injury news, Jakob, because I still have a one more player that I want to talk about regarding an
oh
injury.
oh well, it's not on the notes, so maybe you have
Oh,
it. You have something.
I did put it in the notes, but I put it there earlier today, so perhaps it didn't load for you. I don't know. But
And yeah,
anyways,
probably.
so David Perron will miss the next 5 to 7 weeks with this for the Senators due to a sports hernia, and sports hernias are rough. I know, like Evander Kane last season for the Oilers missed majority of the season due to a hernia, and yeah, it's not a fun thing, and it's like some have to be surgically removed, some you can work through, but for him, I mean, it's never fun, and hopefully he's back to duty for the Sens soon, as they need all the help they can get to get themselves back in the race.
Oh, they definitely do. And but Kyle, real quick, because I have heard that term, but I've never said. Do you know exactly where a sports hernia is located? Like what body part is affected?
I do not, to be honest.
Okay, well, if anybody knows, actually, I'm gonna search that up because I'm
I,
quite intrigued by what
mhm.
what body part a sports hernias affected. So let's
I'm
see here, everybody.
assuming that it's a abdominal muscle.
Yeah, it's a not true bulging hernia, but a rather soft tissue strain or tear in the lower abdomen or the groin area, which affects the
Okay.
muscles, the tendons, and the ligaments. So yeah, definitely it sounds like it's
Uh,
something bad that, you know, it happens in the soft tissue, and soft tissue is very excuse me, it's
mhm.
very soft, so it's very likely to get hurt very easily. But yeah, do you have anything else to say, or can I move on to my topic that I feel proud of choosing?
Go talk about it, Jakob. Enjoy.
Okay, so since December 1st, 2025, so since last year, like last month, well, last year, 2025, John Gibson I guess was a great acquire. And I know we talked about a little bit on the when we were talking about the Red Wings, but he was a great addition for the Red Wings because since December 1st, he is 15-2-0. So, yeah, I guess he changed from Anaheim to Detroit and found himself in a very good spot. And on that note, there has actually been rumors going around that he is in a Vesna conversation. Although I don't think he's gonna win it, it's very good to see that a goalie of his,
Hmm.
of his age is considered for such a big trophy because the Vesna is very hard to win. So it's very congrats to him, for being in that conversation for a Vesna. And honestly, if you win it, I would be impressed because he has been a very good goalie. He's been good goalie. He just unfortunately just played on a team that maybe didn't show him enough, love and support and didn't back him up. But now that he's on the Red Wings and has the defenders to help him, he's been playing a lot better. And because of that, now he's a goalie that is getting talked about among the greatest goalies in NHL.
Yeah, no, that's fair. He's been very good, and to be honest, he is not my Vesna favorite. On that note, Jakob, who's your Vesna favorite for the season?
I don't
I,
know.
I'll,
My Vesna favorite is it's kind of hard. I think I'm gonna take I don't know because the Vesna candidates that I would have thought like Vasilevsky and Heidelberg have not been they haven't surprised me at all this year. They haven't impressed me at all. Maybe Hellebuck a little bit, but not. I mean, not Hellebuck, Vasilevsky, but definitely not Hellebuck. Hellebuck
hmm,
hasn't been good, but I could see Karol Vejmelka. I could honestly see Karol Vejmelka. He has been playing pretty good, and he could cement himself up there as well. Yeah, I don't. Maybe John Gibson. I'm just saying, if you can
yeah.
look at this record and look 15-2-0, that's impressive for a goalie of his age.
No, that's very fair. My personal favorite, Jakob, is someone you just mentioned is not impressing you. Andrei Vasilevsky has the fifth highest save percentage in the NHL behind Devin Cooley, who's the backup of the Flames, backup Philip Grubauer for the Seattle Kraken, and the two Avalanche goaltenders who are splitting that net pretty equally, so it's hard to crown one of them. But yeah, I would take Vasilevsky or Sorokin for the Islanders, and I think if the Islanders make the playoffs, Sorokin's the guy. But if they don't, I think that Vasilevsky is definitely a safe pick.
Okay, okay, okay. I like it. I like it.
All right, well, so our next topic is actually also regarding a goalie, and it's a little bit different. It's a prospect in the OHL who is the first goaltender to ever score 2 goals. Jakob, you want to say his name?
His name is Team Canada's World Junior goalie Carter George.
And I mean, very impressive as you don't see a goalie score 2 goals. Never minded one league, but rarely ever score 2 goals in their entire career. So, congrats to him. And I mean, considering he was just on that World Juniors team for Canada and everything, I think he will be a very solid NHL goaltender down the line. And by the way, he was drafted in the second round by the LA Kings a couple, like I think it was the 2024 draft. So we'll see how he progresses from here, but I think they got a pretty good pick on their hands and will be a very good goaltender for them and maybe score one in the NHL too. We'll see.
No, he definitely gonna try to score one. We know it. We know if he gets put in, he going and he sees an empty net, he's gonna go for it because I know he has been going for a lot of them, and some have been going in, some haven't. So, with that being said, we're gonna go and move on to our next topic. Next topic, excuse me, which is the Montreal Canadiens are actually leading the NHL with 5 players who have 40 or more points. And I actually pulled it up because I wanted to tell you guys the exact facts of who those 5 players are. And I will tell you from 5 to 1, but it's Yura Slavkovsky who has exactly 40 points at number 5. Demidov has 43 at 4. Cole Caulfield has 50 at third
Mm-hmm.
place. Second place is Lane Hudson with 52 points. And Nick Suzuki, who was snubbed of a Canada spot, is actually number 1 with 57.
He was not
So,
snubbed, Jakob. He is on that team.
wait, yours? Oh,
He is on that
okay.
team.
I don't know, bro. I really got to get off of these Instagram because some people were saying that it was, but I guess
They're
not. I
talking
guess it
about
was.
Lane
Oh,
Hudson, bro, regarding the U.S. replacement.
Might have been Lane Hudson, or for some reason, bro, they were making jokes about Cole Caulfield too. So I don't know.
He
Maybe
got.
I
I think
saw.
he got snubbed too. To be honest, that's a good
Uh,
argument.
Cole Caulfield definitely is putting up is a great performance, but one player that I definitely think definitely got snubbed is Lane Hudson because Lane Hudson has been performing well as of late.
I mean, I think as of late is arguably an understatement. He's been unreal this entire season. As I'm gonna fact check this, but last I checked, he was second in defensive scoring this season, only behind Kale McCarr. And for any defenseman to be able to do that at any age, never mind Lane Hudson being, I think he's 21. Hang
Yeah,
on,
he's young. Yeah, I think
but
so. I
yeah,
think he's
impressive. Yeah, he is 21, and yeah, he's got 52 points in 51 games, and he's third now. Zach Werenski passed him today, as he did. I'm gonna save that for tomorrow. Oops. Well, okay, he scored a goal. Fine.
yeah he scored a goal.
If you guys happen to look, then my bad. But yeah, and then
Yeah,
McCarr's 2 points ahead of him at 54, and he's right in that conversation, and it's great to see. And
it's definitely a tight.
anyways, oh,
It's
go
definitely a
for it.
tight race. Excuse me. But it's definitely a tight race for that Norris. The Norris is a very good, a very prestigious award for defenders. And I guess this year we're gonna get a very tight race at the top for who's gonna win. I think it's gonna be very hard for the voters to decide who deserves the Norris because if it was my opinion, I think all three of them should have gotten a Norris.
Yeah, I think it ultimately depends on where all these teams finish in the standings. Like, I mean, Kale McCarr's a good choice. The Avalanche are top of the league. Lane Hudson, the Habs are doing good. If the Blue Jackets make the playoffs, though, Werenski's my pick because I think he's a big reason as to why they would make it, and that would make him the most valuable defenseman in the league.
I think he should have won it last year, to be honest, because I think he did have a
Hmm.
good, really good season last year, and he's picked it up this season too. But I feel like he definitely got snubbed of it last year. But yeah, no. All right, let's move on to the next topic.
All right. Well, Evgeny Malkin for the Penguins has said that he's not done after this season, which I'm not surprised either way. I didn't think he'd either be done or not done, but yeah, he says that he wants to sign a contract extension with the Penguins, which no surprise, and he's willing to do so at less than the 6.1 million he is currently being paid. So, no matter what, the Penguins are going to be getting themselves a solid deal on Evgeny Malkin, and the ball's in their court. It's a matter of whether they want to do it or not.
Yeah, you have to also look at age can play a key factor in deciding whether or not. But obviously, if I was Pittsburgh, I would keep him until he retires because both him and Crosby are should be Penguins for life. And yeah, it's good to see that he's not done. It's good to see that he wants to keep pushing. He wants to keep fighting. But yeah, on that note, if Kyle, is there anything you want to add, or should I move on to the last topic of the day?
No, it was just the fact that I wanted to, let the people know that that was the case. And yeah, no, I think like Malkin, him sticking around, like for the Penguins, that's huge. I mean, he wants to be a Penguin, and he says he views Sidney Crosby as a brother, which, I mean, they've been playing together for 20 years, so it does make a lot of sense. So yeah,
Hey Kyle,
good.
I view you as a brother, and we haven't been we've only played together for a couple of years. So I mean, hey, it's all based on the connection. If you have a good connection with someone,
Hmm.
chances are that you can make a good brotherhood out of them. And yeah, congrats to Crosby and Malkin. I mean, they are a good duo. You can also say that McDavid and Dressel are good quote unquote brothers too because they have been
Hmm.
playing on when they play together. It's like a fire. It's like boom, they just go everywhere and explode. So yeah, but honestly, I wanted to make that reference because you were talking about brothers and yeah, me and Kyle. Kyle will probably be over here, over here. I don't know which way because sometimes the cameras flip. But Kyle over
For
here
me, it's
is
over
definitely
here. Jacob's
okay.
over here.
Kyle over here is definitely a good brother, and yeah, someone I definitely would
Jakob, point
want to
the other
keep.
way. Point the other way, Jakob. Point the other way.
Man, Kyle's definitely a good brother, and he's definitely someone that I would want to keep as a brother. And I'm glad I got to meet him because this guy has truly been life changing. Although we've had a rough patches, with I guess we could say we're kind of long distance because one of us is we're in two different countries, and that's kind of why the time zones mess it up a little bit. Because currently, when I'm filming, it is almost midnight here, and it's only 10 p.m. in Kyle, almost 10 p.m. in Kyle's time. So, Yeah, we're
Still
trying to
late,
make it
but
work,
yeah.
but yeah, obviously at the end of the day, if I have to film this show at midnight just to film it with Kyle because that's the only time we can do it, let's do it. You know?
Yeah, no. I mean, it's always fun to record. I don't care if it's midnight, if it's 2 p.m., if it's 7 in the morning. It's always fun. But yeah,
I definitely,
Jacob.
I, I definitely, I
Oh,
definitely think that Kyle's definitely someone we can trust when it comes. He'll be up at whatever time. It doesn't matter what time he goes to bed. He'll be up at whatever time you need him to, and that's why me and him are good friends. You know, I love you, Kyle, bro. I don't know where you're at, but I love you, bro.
appreciate it, bro. And I would do that, but I'm just gonna make a fool of myself trying to make a hard hand, bro, because I can't do that for
Try, you
and
gotta
like
try, you gotta try. Let's do it. Oh yeah, yeah, I like it, bro. I like it, bro. Yeah, I love it.
That's not
Hey,
too
love you
bad.
too. Love you
That
too, brother. All right, let's move on to our final two topics because we're gonna
oh,
intertwine them, put them together. But
2 for 1
I believe it
special.
is. I believe it is Roman Yossi and
Hmm.
Charlie Coyle's 1,000 game each for their respected teams. Charlie Coyle is on Columbus, and Roman Yossi is a Predator. So congrats to both. You know, 1,000 games, like we mentioned, is very hard for some people. Why are you laughing over there?
I don't know. You just like and Roman Yossi is a predator.
He played for the Nashville Predators for everybody. Sorry if you guys got the weird joke by me, but he I saw that and I was like, oh my god, I said that, did I? But no, for future references, he is a Nashville Predator,
He is
not
in
a.
fact not a predator in the sense of the other terminal word for the term.
Sorry guys, sorry guys. All right, but yeah, it's definitely good to see that they're both good on 1,000 games, and yeah, it's a very good milestone in their career. And
Mhm.
yeah, you know, like we mentioned with Ryan Nugent Hopkins, it's especially Roman Yossi, who's played for Nashville since the day he got drafted, and being there, not leaving when things get tough, not leaving when playing to the expectation that the Predators play is good. But of course, on the other hand, Charlie Coyle just bounces between teams. It's his fourth team, and
Yep. Which
yeah,
I think
safe
we
to
should
say.
recite those teams, Jacob.
Nah, I think it was if I remember
Well, I
correctly, it
have it
was
written
Columbus,
down.
Boston, Minnesota, and then he got drafted by Colorado and played 19 games for them. So
You have that. You have the games for the Avalanche right, but you are so wrong. He was drafted by the San Jose Sharks and was a
you
part
told
of.
me it was the Avalanche.
I did, bro. He got traded to the Avalanche at last year's deadline.
Oh.
But yeah, he got drafted by.
I got told the wrong thing, guys. My bad. I got told in when we were talking in the car and trying to talk about, what the topics were. I thought I could have sworn maybe it was because we had bad connection, but I could have sworn that Kyle said that it was got drafted by, but I guess it was San Jose and then
He
Minnesota.
well, he never actually played a game for the Sharks. And by the way, this is a pretty obscure fact. He was a part of the Brent Burns trade that brought Brent Burns from Minnesota to San Jose, where Brent Burns transitioned from a forward to a defender and ultimately became a Norris winner.
Oh yeah, so congrats to him. Obviously, congrats to both players. So what? He's played for 5 teams now, so not four, it's five.
He never
Well,
played
technically,
for the he never technically played a game for the Sharks, so played for the Wild. Then he got traded to the Bruins at the 2018-19 deadline and was a part of that Boston Bruins team that went to the finals in 2019. And then got traded to the Avalanche at last year's deadline and in the offseason to the Columbus Blue Jackets.
by the way, the Saint for anybody who doesn't know, the St. Louis Blues, they beat the Bruins. So
They
yeah,
did in fact beat them in 2019, and yeah, it was a fun
I could
finals
tell.
to watch. I can't
I
lie.
could tell. I could tell my girlfriend was very happy because I remember she keeps telling me stories about how she was jumping up and down with her dad when they won that cup. So yeah, it was definitely.
Well,
But no,
yeah. Oh, sorry, Iacob. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're good, bro. You're good.
Yeah.
This is one of those episodes where we can't really decide. We're trying to just talk. We're on a YouTube channel. We're trying to enjoy our lives. Talk about the NHL. I mean, if you look at the iPad, there's literally nothing left. All there is Roman Yossi, which we already talked about. Which I gotta close these ones out, and then the Evgeny
Hmm.
Malkin. So
Yeah.
as of right now, there's absolutely nothing. So we've pretty much said
Hmm.
everything. And unfortunately, there's no. I wish there was some picks of the day, but I do want to mention though that it is currently 12:01 my time, so it's midnight.
Womp
So
womp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, it's the next day. Unfortunately, I would ask Kyle excuse me, I'd ask Kyle what goes on in the past, but he's still in the back. So if Kyle wants to ever ask me a question about what happens in the future, yeah, I can tell you that because I'm in the future already. I'm already
Well,
at I don't
since we're
know.
on that topic, Jakob, what happens 2 hours from now?
That's a good question. Iacob Baron and Kyle Slinchuk are filming an episode, and yeah, that's all I know right now.
So I'm filming again in 2 hours. That's what you're telling me. And
Possibly,
what? So
possibly.
I'm filming alone with like Jakob's spirit or something, and of course that episode never actually gets posted. It's just like
No, that
spiritual.
yeah, yeah, that episode just gets thrown in the wing and then just never gets seen again. So yeah, unfortunately, sorry viewers, but you're not gonna get two episodes. You're only gonna get one from us today because now, yeah.
Don't make me change my mind, Jakob. I might post a second YouTube video without you knowing.
Hey, I always watch them in the mornings. So I mean, they're good. They're well, not the YouTube videos because I unfortunately I have to pay attention to the road. But when I'm driving, I listen to the podcast, and it kind of actually makes the day better. Like the drive go by faster because obviously I'm driving on the same road back and forth and back and forth. So it kind of feels like I'm driving endlessly. It's like a constant loop that I drive. So yeah, no, I definitely like these episodes and I like re-listening to them and seeing what I missed and maybe if I make a mistake I can tell you guys on this podcast, hey, I remember because I listened to the last one and or maybe if Kyle had a bump up like today where we didn't know our player picks today. Unfortunately, I guess I listened to it too early in the morning that I forgot too because honestly I sometimes I forget, but yeah, no, it's definitely a very fun one. And I'm glad we're doing this episode mainly for the fans, but it's also mainly for us because Kyle and me, before these episodes were being recorded, I remember in 2025, we didn't talk much. Like there would be like we would talk and then we wouldn't talk for 2 weeks, and then we talk
Yeah,
again, and then like maybe a month later we talk again. So
yeah.
these
Catch up
episodes definitely
central.
yeah, exactly. These episodes are more so it's not just for you guys, but it's more for us to, catch up and, talk to you guys and have each other's and obviously it connects the brotherhood, because we get to talk more and now I don't have to go and be like, so what'd you do the last month while we didn't talk? It's been a while since we talked. But no, now it's definitely one of those episodes where, we talk every day and we try to find a time that works for both of us and if it has to be late at night, so be it. It has to be late at night. We're both busy. But it's still good that we can call each other for 40, maybe 50 minutes and we record a quick episode and then we spend, 20, 30 minutes after that talking and either playing some games, but we are going to be playing Rocket League tomorrow. I hope you guys know that. So if you guys want to play against us, let us know and we'll play you guys. But definitely back to the topic is definitely these moments where now we don't have to play catch up with each other. Now we see each other every day. We talk about I still say hi to his mom. He still say hi to my mom. So
It's true. We do that.
we're kind of like a long distance family, if you say so. Like I consider his mom to be my second mom, and he considers my mom to be his second mom, right?
Well, that's very true, Jakob. You are very right.
All right. So other than that, I think we are done for this episode. Unless you have anything else to say.
Uh, it's not hockey related, but I want to ask the fans a question. Leave your comment down below, of course, if you have anything to say. But what are you guys watching right now? What's your favorite show? What are you guys watching on YouTube? I mean, it could be this. You could leave that in the comments. What are you guys watching? So yeah,
Mm.
tell us down below. Let us know what you're watching. And yeah, on that note, I was also I don't know if you guys seen earlier in the episode. I was drinking water, so please do stay hydrated.
No, but Kyle, now that you got me interested, I want to know what you be watching on YouTube or what do you be watching nowadays?
Uh, well, right now I'm just finishing up season. Oh man, I don't even know. Are we on season 4 or season 5 now? But I'm finishing up the last season of Stranger Things, and so far it's pretty good. I don't want to leave any spoilers yet because I'm sure there's still people who haven't watched it, and I personally I hate getting spoiled. I think it's the worst thing ever.
No, I definitely think so too. I was watching season 5 with my girlfriend when she was down here, and I was like so confused, like what was going on? And she's like, "You have to watch season 1." I was like, "I'm not going back there." But yeah, no, definitely. What I was watching, because I know Kyle was about to ask me that, because I can see in his mind he
I
was
was
going to ask
not
me that.
going
But
to.
shut up. But anyways, I'm actually into like, I know a lot of people don't think this, but I'm actually into like police movies and shows and like criminal shows. Like I started watching The Rookie, which is a police show. I'm about to start watching Prison Break, which is another like criminal movie. And then I'm really into, yeah, like I just finished watching Maze Runner. I'm on to episode 3 of Maze Runner. So yeah, I'm really excited to watch that, and I'll let you guys know what I think about it. But the first two Maze Runners were really good. Kyle, you ever watch Maze Runner?
I have. It's been a minute, and to be honest, only really remember the first one. But yeah, no, Maze Runner's pretty good. It's very interesting. Those we'll call them insects for simplicity, but monsters, aliens. I don't know what you call them, but yeah, they're. I would
Yeah,
not
whatever.
want to run into one of those in the maze. And personally, I'd stay put. I'd stay put in the middle and suck up my life in there. And I mean, you got a community. It can't be that bad.
Oh no, 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 no. But yeah, no. Oh, is there anything else you want to add? Or are you ready to do the outro and and let the fans go home and go to sleep?
Well, I hope that at this hour, if they're watching it right after we upload this, that they are already home. If you're out drinking, don't drive, call a cab. And yeah,
Of course, you'd say that,
what are you talking about? You say that as if
buddy.
I drink and drive.
Some of the viewers here in Canada, in the US, are have to be 21. You have to be 18. You're lucky. So all the Canadian people, if you are watching this and you are out at a bar, please take a cab and be safe, please, because
Or
I'm
if you're
tired of.
above the age of 21 in the States.
That is true, but I am tired of seeing people get killed because of car crashes. So please find a ride with a sober driver and not another drunk one. Yeah, but
Alright.
with that being said, we'll go
Uh,
ahead and close off today's
Alright.
episode. And
Let me
Kyle
take
will
it.
actually do.
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
was gonna
Oh,
make you do it because I did the intro. So you got to take the outro this time. Sorry, buddy.
I don't feel sorry for myself or for you, frankly, or for any of the fans that have to listen to me talk. So, so, thank you guys all for listening. We really do appreciate all the feedback, which so far we've really not gotten any, but we appreciate any feedback that we will get, any comments that we will get, and yeah, make sure that you guys have a good day tomorrow, as I'm sure most of you will be listening tomorrow, and you know, please don't die. Have a good one. Peace out.
Of course, those are the type of things you say. But yeah, everyone have a good day, and congrats to everybody, to all the NHL players who got an extension. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, and follow on Instagram and our Spotify. And we wanna pass our we need to find a monthly goal, but we'll find that later. Right now, we're just gonna worry about getting but we're trying to get some NHL players to like. So no, we're gonna do some shout outs on our Instagram. So yeah, with that being said, that's it. I hope everyone has a good night, and we will see you all again tomorrow, or I guess tonight, today for me, or the people who live in the
Tomorrow.
Eastern time zones. We'll see you guys later today or tomorrow for anyone who lives in Kyle's time. Bye bye, everybody.
Peace out.